Okay, so I'm going to try this again because the last time didn't work. I'm here. I'm trying rosés. I'm trying to tell you guys that just because they're highly scored, highly rated, it doesn't make a wine the best for you, for your time, for your palate. So I'm going to go through 4 rosés I tried today out of 12. They're not the 4 most highly rated rosés, but they're 4 rosés that are worthy of your attention, everybody's attention out there. The first one, in fact, is not even a rosé. I'm going to start with the Tess Red White blend from Napa Valley. It's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petite Verdot, Zinfandel, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc, aged in neutral wood with 10 grams of residual sugar and a low pH of 3.43. It's a crazy wine. It's a little bit frankly sweet, which is going to make it really popular. It's light and it's fresh and it's incredibly fruity. It's a red wine as opposed to rosé, even though it's pretty light, which gives it a little tannin. Smells a bit like red currant jam. Picked up a little bit of spice from the wood, probably, also from the Petite Verdot. The sugar makes it a little sticky on the finish, a little candied, but you're going to love it. The acidity washes a lot of that away. It's a fruity wine. Not my style at all. This would go well with some maybe grilled chicken or something that's a little burnt, bitter stuff will counterbalance the sweetness here, so that's worth investigating. Again, not for me, 20 bucks a bottle, but tons of people are going to love this wine. It's fruity. The antithesis of this wine today, at least, is this Tuari. I think it's Tuari Eccoci Rosé Petite Verdot from Spain. This is 2011. A lot of the wines I'm tasting now are 2012s, which are obviously fresher. And this has some issues, I think, on the nose. It has a little bit of, this is an old wine. It smells a little bit like a wet dog. A little carob and wet dog. Was not impressed by the nose, but then I put it in my mouth. Bright acids, beautiful smooth feel. Plenty of fruit here. Enough fruit. Is like some twig, dried herb elements. They're not really dried herbs. They sort of twiggy, woody, a little dry on the finish, dry and tart, and just the texture is fantastic. It's not a wine you're going to say, wow, this is great. It's certainly not nearly the highest scored wine of the day for me, but what it is, it's the kind of wine that you start drinking it and you're like, you know, okay, it's okay. And it has a little bit of subtlety, and it's beautifully balanced, and it's refreshing and juicy and long. So it's a very interesting option for somebody who wants a rosé that's not really fruity, not super fruity. Having said that, that's 16 bucks, 15 bucks. If you're going to buy a rosé, this $10 Apaltagua, I'm getting crazy with the camera, Carmenere from Chile is the buy of the year so far. I've probably tasted 25 to 30 rosés, and this is the best value. The next one is the best of the best, but this is a beautiful value, classic rosé, bright acidity, gentle nose. It's a little mineral. It's a little bit of watermelon. It's a little bit of rose petal. A little smoky soil tone almost. Narrow, focused, lean, refreshing, mouth-watering, watermelon, raspberry, strawberry. Not super complex, not super refined, just super refreshing. It is delicious. I can't imagine anybody saying that they don't like this. It might be too tart for some people. It's got a lot of acid, which I like. Oh, it's really, it's 10 bucks too. I don't know if I mentioned that. $10. It's fairly fruity, but it's not sweet. And for 10 bucks, I just don't see you getting a better bottle. It's so refreshing. This is already almost at room temperature. You serve this chilled, and you will have lots of happy friends, and that's what the summer's all about. That's what rosé is all about, right? So that's 10 bucks if you want to double your price, $20, $21. The Crossbarn by Paul Hobbs, Sonoma Coast Rosé of Pinot Noir, 2012. This is the best rosé I've had this year. It's similar to the Apaltagua in that it's very refreshing and it's linear and it's focused, but the fruit is presented in a completely different way. It's a little softer, it's a little rounder, it's deeper, it's more complex. It's not as overtly fruity. Has more mineral character, has a little bit of almost a dried citrus pith, red cherry fruit. But it's understated. There's a little bit of finesse on the finish. It's a beautiful wine. Apaltagua, great rosé. Crossbarn, the rosé of Pinot Noir, is a great rosé, but it's a great wine too. It has enough complexity to work with a wide variety of dishes. I'd love to see this with actually veal with morel cream sauce would be a very interesting combination out on the patio. So those are 4 rosés that I've tried today. Later this week, I'll release the notes for all 12. You can find out which one was the highest scored, which one was the second highest scored. Not here, Beckman over there, big Grenache-based rosé. But just to remind you guys, the points don't necessarily mean best. They really don't. Points are best of a type. But if you're having burgers, you might want to have, especially if you have ketchup, you might want to have Tess. This would probably be the best if you're having burgers. If you're having a nice salade niçoise, go with the Apaltagua. If you're having grilled salmon with Dupuis lentils, this is definitely what I would go for, the Crossbarn. And I hope the camera didn't just cut out, because all I've had all day is issues with cars, cameras, and everything else. So that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm going to go drink some wine. I'm going to go have some gazpacho with my Crossbarn rosé of Pinot Noir. And until next time, drink well. Take people's advice like myself, but ultimately decide what you want and know that whatever you like is the best choice for you. That's it. Thanks, friends.